The curriculum also, the competency-based curriculum, has also captured the children with special needs.
Yeah, the special needs.
Meaning that all of them have been catered for in a very well calculated move. So that if the normal learners are doing the age-based, according from PP1 all the way in those levels, the others have also their curriculum, which is structured. They are also having a way to assess them and also include them in the normal school system. So that's working well, even through training. The teachers have been trained and are being trained to cater for that.
And this is the first time we are doing that.
This is
that everything now is connected, is harmonized.
True.
And the special needs children and the other children are all learning together.
True.
I mean, being assessed in their own way.
Good. Yes. So that means that every learner will be catered for from their level and at their space, which is actually good. So that said, then I will come back to your question. In terms of competency, is about their ability. What is this learner able to do, as compared? How are they competing with others? It's about what is this child according to the expectations, learning outcomes that have been designed or planned for. What is expected of this learner? Are they getting it? Are they able to do what we have said in the design they are doing? So it's about their ability and how we inculcate that to make sure that they are the best version of themselves. So competency is in line with that, as compared to who are you winning. It's not about winning others. It's about what are they able to do. Yes.
True.
Oh wow. So
Parents are part of this. I'm happy because if you look at the structure and one of the components, maybe we'll get into the deeper details with time. One of the principles of CBC is parental empowerment and engagement. It's a program. It has a curriculum. KICD has already developed that. So every school, what we are doing here in the media, all stakeholders, they have a responsibility to educate parents on what is happening at all levels. So whenever a child is at whatever level, we should be able to walk through the parents so that they're able to guide their learners. So there's not going to be a place in CBC that there is success if the parent is off the grain. So we need to be able to bring the parents on board, the school and the learners. So it's a wholesome program. Yes.
Yeah, and I may want to ask you, even as you jump in with more information.
Yes.
Where do you think the gap occurred? Because truth be told, there's a gap. The parents are kind of behind the schedule. Even as you see that KICD already has a curriculum for the parents. We are a bit slow. So we are kind of doing catch up. We will get there, but there's a gap. How did we get into such a gap?
First, like I said, that the sensitization and awareness was not really empowered, and not more resources have been put into that. So you're finding that a parent has a JS, that is junior school child, but they do not understand that the assessment started from grade 5. So you're asking them, where is the assessment for grade 4, 5, before we even go to KIGISEA for grade 6? And they're not aware. So what happened is that one day parents thought they are going to wake up and find their runner being number 1 and doing very well, and the maths. Now we don't have maths. We don't have ranking. But schools are still being forced to rank. So parents have to depart from the mind of competition to the mind of collaboration and communication. Parents are not even aware of the core competencies of CBC, the core values of CBC. I would always like saying that 844 was very good, but it lacked the values. Yes. An 844 person will compete to you even in your organization where you are working. Somebody is working in marketing, another one in finance, but you're still competing. Who is going to get the next promotion? And you are doing different roles. So that's what we lacked. And this is what we wanted to disseminate, and we are saying that we have to be the Morara Kebaso of education. Every area has a Morara who can wake up and say, I want to do this journey. Personally, I'm giving myself a central career to do this journey because I know most of us who went through JAB, who are going through KUSIPs, it's about what grade did you get so that you get this kind of placement in the university.
Yeah.
Without looking at, do I have the abilities?
Yeah.
It's only the capacity.
Yeah.
So competence with CE is about capacity. Competence with CI is about the abilities and the skills. Yes, you have a knee. Can you become a doctor? Ama ni wale mtoto ukiona damu ya mbuzi unazirai. And mzazi anasema wewe ni daktari.
Yes.
Sasa jamani, nani ameharibu mtoto? Si ni mzazi. So the parents are the problem because just yesterday I was in a school and a child approached me and told me, what if my parent is forcing me to do STEM and I'm very good in arts? What do I do? So the child can already know where they are good at. They have been exposed. But the parents, we are still in that competition world. Soma vizuri, upate grade mzuri, upate kazi mzuri.
It's time to move.
It's time to move.
Because the train has already left. Actually, come to one day. Imeenda kuenda. So we really need to catch up and to do our best. Now, comparing 844 and the CBC curriculum, you've already talked about ability.
Yes.
I find it, okay, it had its good things, and you will address that as a, as a consultant in educational matters, because we did a lot of things with our hands. We are products of that. And so I don't know what happened. And we need to watch out so that that thing that happened doesn't happen with this one as well. But talking about abilities, we have been in a system where we assume the ground is level. So maybe we fail to have doctors coming from some certain regions just because they were not privileged.
Yes.
The ground was never leveled.
Yes.
What are your thoughts comparing these two?
BC, and so thank you so much. So, Reb, I would want to bring to your attention that as you think about 844 initially, it was so practical. A lot of activities, learners were guided according to interests, according to ability, and there was fun in school. But as we progressed, I think we left it somewhere. I remember as a trainer, I trained teachers. I would go to watch them as they do their teaching practice. Then I would ask, why are you teaching about leaves by drawing? Why would you draw a leaf for a child, yet it is just at the window there?
Yeah.
Why not pick the leaf and discuss it? At some point, because of private school expectation, I think naturally Kenyans, I don't know where fear comes from. They would say that the director would not approve. So I would say, I'm coming next lesson, just prepare, or I would sit in the staff room, prepare and do the lesson appropriately. If they're supposed to play, stop telling them about how football works. Either show them a video, if there's provision, or take them out and plan that lesson and they do that football match. Then they would do that, and then the next time I'm coming, all the other teachers are outside teaching, and the director is so happy and impressed that this is happening. Meaning, I think sometimes we are so much restricted and rigid just from our own fears and our thinking. The issue is that people do not want to read and do what is right. Even today, look at the designs. Everything is there. I'm telling you, as a consultant, I read, I get paid. And I show them when I'm leaving, this is where you're supposed to do it. So the challenge is the people who implement the curriculum, and a lot of expectations. Many stories came like the parents want to see homework. They want to see the child writing. Yet, for a child to write, they have to do so many activities, tailoring, paperwork, modeling and all that. So I would say, why are you the expert if you cannot guide the director, the community on how things should be done? So we vacated from the right practice because of personal interests. People are mean, and sometimes people are in a hurry. Again, we also talk about it in the education practice. There is a teacher-centered practice approach and there's a learner-centered approach. So if you look at 844, it is mainly teacher-centered. It is so comfortable, Lucy, to wake up one morning, just come and tell people what you want to say. But for the learner-centered approach, you need to even group learners according to their interests, according to their ability, according to their preference. There are learners who prefer talking. You group them in discussion groups, you task them accordingly, and that's what CBC is doing. And it's an expensive thing because it needs a lot of time and a lot of planning if it will succeed. And that's why 844, we vacated from that practice. We came to where we're just telling them, preparing them for assessment or exams, and now we had to redo it with CBC.
Wow.
The big question again is,
yes.
why not improve 844 and now come instead of bringing CBC? If you do, those who have done benchmarking, this is a practice world over. And by the way, CBC is news in Kenya, but in the world it started in 1979, thereabout. So the people that have succeeded mostly have done CBC or CBE, and that's why we would vote for it. And there's a lot of change in the country. So if we would go back to 844, it wouldn't work. Looking at the subjects and provisions that we have today, and the job market and the alignment in education and in practice, the best way was to do CBC. And as I told you, it was well structured. The only thing we need to do is to do it right, so that there is flexibility, there is preparation, there is guidance, there is equity, you know, and all that we need to do for the learners.
Now, I would like us, thank you very much, I would like us, and you will take us through that.
Yes.
I saw you doing like this, so you'll take us through that. I mean, this is a class.
Yes.
We are all learning. Now, before we take a break, in a minute, the parents and the teachers who failed in 844 are kind of the same parents, or they've taken over.
Yes.
They are the same parents. They are the parents of CBC. I mean, we are Kenyans.
Yes.
We are the same people.
True.
So then, how can we be sure that even this one will not fail it? What's the difference? What the difference that we can, you know, have? What must we do so that it doesn't fail?
We must stop depositing students in schools and withdrawing them with flying colors in grade 8, depositing them again in Form 1, withdrawing them again with flying colors, without knowing where the colors are flying to. So the colors end up flying to any career that they can do. And we again go to, I can do everything through Christ who strengthens me, because you do not even have exposure for what you are doing. So it's time that as a country, we realize that change is as good as rest. Parents, we are 9 years into this. Next year we are going to grade 10, which is Form 1 in your mind.
Yeah.
But now grade 10 is about specialists. So what is your specialist going to do?
Yeah.
What have you been nurturing? Because parents don't even know the mission for CBC. That's about nurturing every learner's potential, so that we can have an ethical, empowered, and engaged citizen, not learner.
Now, that in quotes, the problem with this, munatupeleka mbio sana. You've already named 5 things. You're now naming more. Now, we're there.
The problem is the parent.
So it's the mindset.
It's the mindset
It's
of
the
the
attitude.
parent. Because the parent are still want people to be drilled.
Plus the teachers. I mean, how do I show?
If the parent says that this is what we are nurturing, the teacher will not grill.
What do we do with our vuvuzelas? And on that note, I think I want us to take a break. We need a break. Siku hizi wanasema this syllabus inatupeleka mbio sana.
Syllabus ya Kenya,
so we don't want to take you na your speed. So we'd like you also to take a short break as we also take one. We'll be right back in a few. Please don't go away. This is very, very interesting.
Thank you, Ryan.
Start your day with inspiration and purpose. An opportunity to ignite your spirit, uplift your soul, and set the tone for a fulfilling day.
To rely on God and to wait on God, to trust in God and never to waver. never to be shaken by what is happening around.
We invite you to embark on this sacred journey through inspiring sermons, prayers, and hymns.
What has been taken away from us, He is ready to lift us to another level. As we talk about the Lord's restoration, He is ready to repair.
Let it be your guiding light, leading you towards a deeper connection with your spirituality.
What matters is you don't go back one. You go forward, and you receive your mountain.
Tune in to the morning devotion starting from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on KAK TV Signet and live on Facebook and YouTube at KAK TV Kenya.
Welcome back, and we are glad that you are following. We are also streaming live on KAK TV Kenya on Facebook and KAK TV Kenya on YouTube. Please tell us what you think about all this learning that we are doing. And today we are understanding CBC. Now we know there is CBC, there is CBE, there is CBL, but they all start with a competency. I mean, bottom line.
Yeah.
It's a competency. Na hii ndio muiganania. This one gives equitability. And so this is a good system. I think we are getting very convinced, but we also know that the train has left the station. So we need to catch up where we have not, caught up with the train so that we can move together, all the stakeholders. And now, today, as I told you earlier, we have Madam Salome Kenyanjui, who is an educational consultant. We also have Mr. Joseph Moraya, who is a CEO of Central Career, Center.
Yeah.
They deal with this. This is their thing. And so we are very privileged to be, drawing from their wisdom. So we're talking about what next. We're in CBC, so what? Now, we were trying to paint this picture about how this house, looks like. Can you help us? What's the mission and the vision of this CBC? And explain it, break it to us in very, very simple terms.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So when you hear about CBC, it's very well structured so that we can be able to just understand and implement with ease. So one thing about CBC is that it is anchored on our national goals of education. Possibly a question for you. How many goals of education do we have? As a parent, you should know. As an educationist, you should know. We have 8 national goals of education. Initially, we had 7, but today we have 8 so that we incorporated the international consciousness. So if you look at those national goals of education, they are the ones that the government picks on issues of education. They don't just pick anything, they work around those. So with those, we realize that they picked, I don't want to go into details, but the first one is about national unity and patriotism. So how many people are patriotic? So as a child goes through the system of education, it's quite important that you know which goal of education is being met. Then to just make it easy for us, within the national goals, we got what we call the vision and the mission. So our CBC has a vision. It's not just a curriculum. It has a vision. And we say our curriculum is alive. It's alive. It is working every day for us, even as our children go through it. So the vision is to have an engaged, empowered, and ethical citizen. We call them the 3 E's. An engaged, empowered, and ethical. You all know why we talk about engaged, because mostly in our 844 we lacked that component. Learners were just being told they were passive, but here it's something that the learners need to soil their hands. They need to be practical. They need to understand. They need to internalize. So they need to do. So it's engaged, empowered. They need to know who they are. They need to understand themselves. And you will see this through the structure as we discuss through the program. And you realize that they need to be empowered and ethical. We complained a lot that they were not disciplined when they came to the job market, and that is a consideration that was brought on board because it's part of the Constitution of Kenya. So that's the vision. The vision is that we need an empowered, an engaged, empowered, and ethical citizen. Then we go to the mission. What is the mission for CBC? We need to nurture every learner's potential. There is no learner without potential, even the one that you think is the worst of all. There is no learner without potential. If they can be well supported, guided, engaged, empowered, they can be able to get their potential realized. And for us to have that potential, we need to identify that potential. We need to nurture it or to support them and to provide for that. So if you look at that house, Reverend Lucy, you see at the top there, they're the national goals. From them, we got the vision. From the same, we got also the mission. And that's a complete one. So as we go to the pillars, because they're pillars, then you realize...
So the roof
are
the goals.
The goals,
Yes.
From the goals we got the
vision
and the mission. So then we go to the pillars. We have 3 pillars, and the first pillar is not in any order. There are 3 pillars. One is about values. The other one has got something we call the theoretical framework. This one we leave it to the teachers and experts. And there is the one that we call principles. So for the values pillars, if you go back to our constitution again, and also through the national goals of education, the world has so many values. But as Kenya, we picked 8. And they are very easy to pick them. If you go to the national goals, you see peace, love, unity, respect, responsibility, you know, citizenship, patriotism. So those. Why? Because we lacked. And as a nation, we need to build on them. So CBC is alive to that reality. So those are the values. So as a parent, whoever you are working with the learners, these are the values you need to bring out. And they happen in the classroom in every lesson. If you go to any class, you'll see a plan that also picks on which value am I reinforcing. Then we go from there, we look at the principles. For CBC to work, it has some principles. One is excellence. Unlike 844, where we used to say that let's do it hurriedly, tomorrow you'll fine-tune it, or when you're doing exam, you'll fine-tune it. Whatever they do in the morning, that counts. So it has to be given the attention it needs. So the parents, again, they have a responsibility for provision, for support, making sure children are in school in good time, so that there's that which should be achieved, which is excellence. There's inclusion. There is what we call parental empowerment and engagement. It's not something that was just said somewhere, no. It's part of the principles. So those are the principles. And differentiated learning. This is something we missed in 844, whereby learners should be catered for. Whichever topic, or these days we call them strands. Whichever strand or sub-strand you teach, it should cater for each learner's need. Possibly if they are well endowed, you know, there are those who are good with hearing. You need to know that. And that's why we need those assessments that we'll talk about later, so that you know how are these learners endowed, so that you're able to provide for. So when you have a task, a teacher should plan for learners in different ways based on their interests, preference, and all that. So those are some of the principles. Theoretical frameworks are the theories that we anchor our CBC on. And those ones, you can be sure, like you can see the community service learning, there are those people who are excellent philosophers who presented such, so that we can be able to agree this is a model that we need to take. And you can be sure the design is perfect based on those theories. So that one I wouldn't want to take us through because it's a bit technical, but you can be sure somebody sat and thought through. So when you see us doing practical, there is a reason behind that professionally. If you see us going to the community, that is also anchored somewhere, and it is acceptable worldwide in the practice. I would leave the core competencies to Moriah.
Yeah, and I'm glad. Thank you very much for taking us through all that. I know we'll digest it slowly, but the more we keep engaging, also, we need also engaged audiences. And empowered
and ethical.
And ethical. Now you have the 3 E's. We will keep talking because there's so much. It's all packed up.
It is.
But I had you call the topics the strands,
yes.
Because we think these are very strange, but they're not.
They're not.
The topics are the strands.
Yes.
The syllabus is the
curriculum designs.
Curriculum design. So when you hear design, is the curriculum.
The syllabus.
The syllabus, sorry.
Yes.
The design is a syllabus, the topic is a strand.
Strand.
And I think we need to keep repeating until we overwrite what we used to know. Now over to you to continue.
Thank you so much. She has really articulated the issues very well. So CBC wanted competencies, certain competencies, because employers, when they're employing us, they are looking for skills. And these skills can only be developed through the competencies. So which are these core competencies of CBC? We have the communication and collaboration, which students are supposed to communicate with one another. They are supposed to develop those skills. We have digital literacy. They are supposed to be able to use digital gadgets to do their own homework, to do their own research. They are supposed to be having something we call citizenship. Yes. We are supposed to have learning to run. How can you know that a child has learning to run abilities? Then we have to self-efficacy. They have to be able to set their own goals and believe in them and be able to evaluate them. Because I ask parents, yes, we wanted this child to have exceeding expectation. Were these goals communicated to the child? Or are you looking at the results slip by the end of the day? Because you should have communicated, you walk the journey. Because career planning is a process. It's not an event. 844 was an event. KCSE is out. Next system goes into a freeze mode because everybody wants to know.
Yeah, we all jam the system,
But go to Kijisea, the system are not jammed because parents are not even taking it like it's a serious thing because it's a process. These exams are happening at every level. So what was the basic organization levels of CBC? What did the KICD intend even with their design? What was the focus? So the focus in PP1, PP2.
Before we get there,
yes.
I just wanted you to give us, these areas that you have mentioned, but just to appreciate that actually people are following.
Yes.
We can see you. You're following the Steve Weke. It seems you have very many fans. Because you are a lecturer. many fans, like Steve Weke is saying, thank you, Madam Salome. There's another one called Grace Wangari. She's saying, following Salome Kenyanjui and your colleague, continue enlightening parents and teachers. Charles Maina Mwangi is saying, great insights. Earlier I also saw, Rev Tony Matiko, Waithera Wakaranja, we have Carson, Livingstone, this one is saying, my lecturer. Mtalipa. How are you saying hi to your lecturer? Peke yake hapa hivi. Yeah, so we are glad that you're watching and you can still continue dropping us your messages. We are glad to know that you're actually following. Earlier on there was Pastor Dan Musa Gadi. Alikuwa ameita watu wote hapo akawaandikia, we appreciate you. There's also Wanja, Lucy James. Hi Salome.
Hi.
Alisema anakuwa watch Ambrose pamoja and many of you there. I mean the viewership is high. We truly appreciate you. Now we promised you we are talking about grade 9. But before we get to grade 9, Ebu, we first understand these levels and what is expected of every level, so that we can also understand the assessment, so that we can start jamming the system now with the understanding, you know, with the understanding of what it's all about. So maybe, do we start from you or you?
Yeah.
We start.
So, we had the basic levels of education that were supposed to have been achieved at every grade. So that we remove the issue of competition, we remove the issue of misconception. So PP1, PP2. The basic focus was on interaction skills. They were supposed to be able to interact with one another. This child has just been brought alone. They have never seen others. They are seeing them for the first time. So they're supposed to interact, be able to communicate, and start getting the values at that stage. Good morning, how are you, thank you. So parents, if that is being achieved by your child, and they can be able to communicate about the interaction and all that is achieved, so that they are supposed to go to the next level. That's why we don't have a national assessment at PP2.
So PP1, PP2, nika free mode.
Free mode. Everybody proceeds to grade 1.
So wajielewe wa...
So there is no need kusema kameshinda wangapi.
Yeah.
Everybody is proceeding.
You see, now the problem is we are used to throwing graduation parties, you know, at PP2. Now what are you telling us?
Okay, you can celebrate. You can celebrate without any competition.
Yeah.
Yes. Then at primary section, grade 1 to grade 6, the focus again from KICD on these basic education levels was socialization skills.
Socialization skills.
Yes. Why? The brain of a child is fully formed at 7 years. Whatever happens from 7 years, that is age 8 at grade 3, it's developing it. So the foundational skills have been achieved. Now we want to know their personality so that they can have their own self-esteem, self-confidence, they can have self-awareness that they are realizing this is who I am, so that we do not suppress them. One time Magoha said that there shall be a national assessment at grade 3. We shall not be a written exam. And everybody was friends and saying, what is this? A grade 3 national assessment. It was supposed to be personality. So that teachers know this is the personality of this child. Even as I continue teaching, I know I have different personalities that I'm molding, dealing with, because your personalities define your interests. Those interests define the careers that you can thrive in. So many 844s are surviving in their careers. They are survivors. But now, we exit that, and at grade 6.
Okay. Tupeleke tena pole pole.
Mutaratara.
Mutaratara hii syllabus iko na mbio sana. So, PP1 and 2.
Interaction skills.
Interaction. Interaction. At the end of this, I think we'll have an assessment. So, please get it. PP1 and 2, interaction.
Yes.
PP1 and 2, grade 1 to 3?
Grade 1 to 3, 1 to 6.
1 to 6.
Socialization
skills.
But now we are supposed to have done that at grade 3.
Grade 3.
As they go to grade 4. So you have 3 years.
So talk about this assessment here.
Yes.
The name.
The name.
Yeah.
Now what do we have at grade 3? We have CARE. Kenya Early Years Assessment. Yes. So that we want to see, are these foundational skills being met from the curriculum design, from the implementers who are the teachers, so that NEC can assess how are we progressing, so that we do not wait at an event at grade 8 to know whether your child has been performing all through.
Yeah, so we can know early, we can assess early, improve early.
Improve early.
Yeah.
And now at grade 4, we start now the SBAs that are from the national assessment. Yes.
SBA again. Now we tumetoka kwa C.
Yes.
Tumetoka kwa C. So unatuambia tuna shift.
Sasa tuna shift, tunaenda kwa S.
Okay.
School based assessment, where we do not have the security, the askaris again in school. We want what the runners have been able to run, to articulate, to achieve. Has it been met?
Yeah.
So we have an assessment at grade 4, end of the year assessment from NEC. At grade 4, that will feed into KIGISE at grade 6. So again we have another one at grade 5, an SBA, that will feed at 20% again to grade 6. So we have 20% at grade 4, 20% at grade 5, And now we have the grade 6, the KJC, or what we call Kijisea kwa lugha ya mtaa.
Kijisea is easier.
Kijisea.
You tumezoea Kipsea, you know, zina flow.
We have Kipsea at grade 6.
Yeah, so
Kipsea. So at grade 6, the Kipsea, it's 60% because we already have 20,
40,
20, and
yeah.
40. So it forms 60% and it summarizes the end of primary section work. We want to see what was said at primary section work. Has it been achieved? Has the delivery been met? So that as we progress with them in grade 7, we are progressing with them now in another stage called exploration stage. They need to explore the 9 different running areas, and I think we have different subjects at 13. We are introducing them now into a world of exposure. We want them to see what does the world have of you. How have you been performing in certain subjects? Which one do you have interest on? Yes, and that stage, that's where we are supposed to, in other countries they will do the work study program, so that the child at one point, they can see practically whom they will be, then come back to class and see which subject shall take me there. As you are saying, the train has left, but you need to know which train and your destination. Because if you are not going to Mombasa and you have said you are at Motito
yeah, then you are lost.
You are lost.
Yeah.
So now the subject that they are exploring is what will help us during grade 9 exam, because again we have an SBA at grade 7. Then we have an SBA at grade 8.
So form sign SBA.
Sign SBA.
You people.
School-based
SBA.
School-based assessment.
Yes.
Because all this will be used by Kenya National Examination Council and the MOE during the placement at senior school. So again we have at grade 9 the KJC, Kijisea. Kijisea again will take 60%, but will to have a combination of points from grade 4. So meaning we are not waiting for an event, it's a process. Ask a parent today of grade 9, do they know what percentage NEC holds on their portal?
Sasa kuna shida.
Yeah.
And that's why we are here, actually.
Do
That's
they
why we are
know?
building the case.
Yes, we are building a case because no parents know the performance of their child. Yet they have 40% of their child's report.
Already.
Already.
That's given now.
40.
Now they can determine.
Yeah.
They can determine. So if you want your child to meet expectation, which starts at 60%, so how much effort do you need to put now if your child has 20? It means out of 60% you have to score 40%. So it means a lot of work has to be done. And because we are talking about nurturing every runner's potential. Which subject does the runner have the potential at? Will those subjects form their career cluster, their subject cluster in the university? Because this is the area where we need to expose them into career interest assessment. You remember personality at grade 3?
Yeah.
Now at grade junior school, we are saying expose them to career interest assessment, which is a psychometric assessment. And I am applauding NEC on this because they have pronounced themselves in this matter with the collaboration with Central Careers that we are going to have a runner's questionnaire at grade 9 being administered, and it's not an exam. It's just to test your interests and your personality. How do they anchor? Which careers can you do? Therefore, which tracks can you go into in senior school?
Thank you. Hold it there. I want us to dwell a little bit in like 3 minutes as we continue, as we start winding up now.
Yes.
2.5 minutes on the exploration stage. Because this one matters. Because this is where the rubber will meet the road. Because this is what will launch the learners into the paths.
It's a make or break stage.
Yeah, it's a make or break.
Yes.
So we really need to understand this so that we are well guided.
Yes.
So transition us from the 40 and now to what is expected here.
Okay. So possibly for me to get there is just to help us know that that is in junior secondary school.
Yeah.
So there, what happens is that learners have a lot of topics within their subjects, meaning they will be allowed, according to the curriculum, the way it is designed, to see all possible careers in their future
At a glance.
at a glance.
Yeah.
So from grade 7, 8 to 9, that's the period to explore. They will go to tanneries, things you've never had, leather work. They will go to metal work. They will do a topic in anything you have ever thought of.
Laboratory,
Good.
all these things.
And they will go to the lab, and people are complaining that their kids have been taken to Form 3 work. I see us, trying to see that. But this is so well, designed so that they can be able to experience all areas that they should be able to prepare for the next level, which is career pathway. And they are going to be able to select at grade 10 based on all the interests, because as they do all these levels or all these areas, they will be able to feel like this is something that I have an interest in. And like Moriah has said, it's an opportunity if you see, and that's why parents need to work together with the school and the learners. If my child is so much interested in doing passion fruits, they are taught in different levels. They're so much interested in geo stuff, marine, anything. They should allow them to go and experience it, because it's an exploration stage, so that when they have that exposure, it prepares them to get ready for the pathway that they really want.
Wonderful. Hold it there. Because I think in our next episode, we want to dig deeper into those subjects.
Good.
So that we know what are we exploring and what's the potential in that kind of the subjects.
True.
They are in 30 seconds. Hi, Saloma and your team. Kindly explain how the placement will be done to senior secondary and what will determine the pathways. We may not finish, but maybe we can touch.
Okay.
Let me ask, do you think the SBA, that is for you, 30 seconds, in all the grades are done fairly? Because the teacher can guess marks. And the other people are saying they are following. So the placement, we just touch it in 30 seconds, and then the SBAs, are they fair? As we wind up.
Good.
Yeah.
Two ways.
Yeah.
The first one is through achievement. So like he has explained, you realize there are some marks that you're getting for each. But finally, in grade 9, they will do a summative assessment. What you've been talking about is formative assessment. And you can be sure the learner, if well assessed, will not vacate from who they are.
Yeah.
So the trend will be there. So whatever they will achieve, you can tell what they're strong in. That is the traditional assessment. But there will be alternative, the one he's talking about, whereby they will have a questionnaire, and it is also going to determine, to be based on their personality. So that being the case, the learner will be allowed also to choose. They will choose which career. So it will look, the kind of placement that they will get, it will be based on their achievement and then their personality and interest, and the selection.
Wow.
So you will find a result slip that has an achievement. On top there, they will be guided what are they good at based on the questionnaire, because the result will come as one package. So therefore, the learners will be placed based on that. I hope that's clear.
So if all these are done well, if we do due diligence, there is nothing then like getting it wrong in terms of your calling, your vocation, and where you're supposed to be, considering also your skill set. So this is a good program. This is a good, as we wind up. Is the SBA any fair?
SBAs are very fair, but I can say that you continue cheating and bringing the exam beforehand for your child because you want them to be a doctor. But if their interest and personalities do not align, yes, the teacher and the parents, they are cooperating together. Because our mentality have not really moved. We still think if you defeat my child who is going to be an engineer and your child is going to be a doctor, you have defeated
Yet we need both of them.
We need both of them.
We need a doctor, we need an engineer, we need a teacher.
This is the first time that I'm asking people that a child who is approaching expectation, a child who is exceeding expectation, can go to the same class, provided they are doing the same line of interest. Why? All the people who work in Kenyatta National Hospital, did all of them score an A?
No.
Then what's the competition?
They're not all surgeons.
They're not all surgeons.
Yeah.
Not the surgeons and those specialists there that need
Yeah.
an A.
Yeah.
But they need assistants who are nurses.
Yeah.
We need lab technicians.
Yeah.
We need pharmacists.
Yeah.
We need cashiers there.
Yeah.
We even need the ambulance driver.
Yeah.
Did he score an A?
No.
But he's in medicine.
But they're saving
Yes.
lives.
Yes.
Thank you. And on that note, that we can all be together making an impact in life, we call it a wrap. Thank you very much for following. As we say here, we give hope, rays of hope. There is hope even for the CBC. There is hope for our children. There is hope for the grade 9s. There is hope even as we prepare for grade 10 all the way to grade 12. So keep it CAC TV. We will be educating ourselves on more issues relating to this transition. Thank you very much again. Take care and may God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Amen.
God warned me. He told me to build a boat.
God has spoken to me.
He will lead us to a new home. He has promised descendants as numerous as the stars.
Oh.